Hello.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Good Influences. My name is Mike Shevver. This is Carleen Contra, Aaron Guilfoy, and Matthew King. We are Matthew. What school did he go to? UT.
Yes.
Did you know that Matthew
He
McConaughey?
did?
Yeah, he's pulling my leg. He's known that.
I honestly was like, Mike wasn't there for that episode. Maybe he really didn't know. Maybe he didn't know
Today's
we had this
episode. I was there for that.
School.
I just think Connor and we talked about
Maybe that's what it was.
going to UT.
That was after. Okay, my bad.
Let's run that again.
Okay, sorry.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Good Influences. I'm Mike Sheffer. Joining me is Carleen Contra, Aaron Guilfoy.
Carly, what are you joining me? I'm
Matt
joining
King.
you.
And today's episode is all about roommates. Hopefully you love them. Some people hate them. You got to live with roommates at least once in your life, whether you're going to college.
If it's your parents.
If you're with your parents.
Unless you're rich and just, you don't have to ever.
Yeah.
A lot of your
people
parents
go-
are right. You're right, family.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Is that a
everyone's
roommate,
had,
though?
even rich kids, I feel like have roommates when they first move into their bachelor pad or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
Maybe, but some people are so rich that they're just like,
well,
They
fuck
know their
those
parents buy 'em a
people.
house.
They can skip over this episode.
They
but-
are monumental people that you have to interact with in your
Yes.
life. They can
Yeah.
either change your life, they can destroy your life, or you can just really learn something about your own life and
Yes.
set you on a whole different course.
Yes.
Based on living with somebody.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off talking about our current, I would say, living situations, and maybe just to clear the air and set the tone for where we
Yeah.
all are. Obviously, you are married.
I live with a man. He's my roommate. We are married,
And they were roommates.
and they were roommates. Someone started a email with that, and they were roommates.
Oh, perfect.
And then I clicked it.
That's a Vine, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. But like that woman or that person, whoever it was, just
And
having
they
that
were
conversation.
Sometimes I think it's staged.
No.
that
you think?
Vine.
Well, I don't know. Matsukar is a photographer, so I feel like he actually captures like authentic moments really well. But there was something about the way she goes, and they were roommates. Like she's kind of
inflected.
hamming up the line.
I don't
in
know.
A way.
I feel like he probably just sat there for like hours. I
If
mean, he
you're
did
in
it
New
all
York-
the time, and then like caught something good one day.
And it's not like she was talking about gossip, so she was excited.
Yeah.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
But isn't it crazy that that person on that phone call, like 9 years later, we're still just, I don't know, I think about stuff like that all the time.
I saw a girl on TikTok and I was like, I feel like this is her. So I commented. I was like, are you the And we were roommates girl? And she goes, no. All right.
Were you and TJ roommates before you became married?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. I think it's like, I know that your way of life is not this way of life, but I think it's crazy to not live with a significant other before you marry them because you find out so much about them. And I feel like for so many people, it ruins their relationship.
Oh, I think so. I can agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've lived with like the past relationship
Sure.
together, but I think it was a good time because it realized, maybe this isn't the best
Totally.
idea.
Yeah.
And Carly, you live with
My boyfriend roommate.
your boyfriend.
Boyfriend, roommate.
Yeah.
Boyfriend / roommate.
Yeah.
And wait,
They are
but-
roommates, I guess. That's a weird thing to say, but.
Oh yeah, roommates. Does he pay his rent on time?
Oh, yeah.
Or does he live there for free with you?
Well, I pay a mortgage, so, I mean, we have it figured out.
Okay.
We don't need to dissect Carly's financials on the podcast.
It's all part of the topic, Mike.
He
Okay.
puts in his, yeah.
And Mike,
It's in the contract,
Yeah, we made a
in the lease agreement.
Yeah.
I
Someone
live
did
with-
send me their lease agreement that one of their
Someone
roommates
sent you
sent,
their
but it
lease
was
agreement?
far too long to read on this episode because it was like 3 pages long.
A
We're not
lease
a,
agreement.
not a legal podcast.
No. She sent me the lease agreement that her roommate wrote
Oh.
for them.
Oh,
Whoa.
T.
Yeah.
So not even like a legal
No,
one.
it was just like, hey guys, these are all the rules we need to abide by.
Oh my
According
God.
to me.
Wow.
Holy
I live
shit.
with Adam Melcher, Grammy Award viewing musician, and he.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about like our significant others' notoriety.
I said Grammy Award viewing.
Oh, that's right.
He's great. The way actually it started was I moved here to that apartment that I used to live at. I don't know if you were ever there.
No, but I knew where it was.
You were there once.
Yeah, it was tiny.
Aqua
It
Vista.
was really tiny, but like I had moved there with after living in Brooklyn, where in New York real estate is really small, and for even cheaper than I was paying for one room out of 3, like where I was sharing it with 2 roommates, I was able to get an apartment here with 2 bedrooms just for myself.
Wow.
So I did that, and it was the first time I ever lived alone. And aside from having roommates, you also learn a lot living on your own, because I had lived with roommates basically since I moved out of my parents' house. And I realized, like, if you like put something down, it's not getting moved until you move it again. Like there's my mom's not going to clean it up.
No dishes to be done.
Dishes need to get like, so you learn to be a little bit self-sufficient, but then Adam was changing apartments here in LA and needed a place to stay and just called me. I was like, hey, would it be cool if I stay in that extra room? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Like one of my best friends, I'm down to live with a roommate again. Then COVID hit and we were like, this is a pretty small place. And then we moved into the house. So yeah, that's my current roommate situation. It's great.
Oh, very nice.
Have you guys, I don't know if maybe we can do it without saying names, but like, do you have bad roommate experiences?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I'm looking at her.
Yes.
It's like my biggest fear. And I'm like,
You guys live together?
Yeah, for like almost 4
well,
years.
I guess he moved here when we weren't living
Oh my God,
together.
you just don't know anything about us. Like, you could have at least Wikipedia our like famous birthday
wow.
to us.
I didn't know you guys lived together.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
We
That's
moved
fun.
here at the same time to live together
Oh,
with another
wow.
girl, and we stayed in an Airbnb for like a week or two.
We do have a funny story about her specifically.
Which one?
Well, okay, so when we moved here, Carly and I got here like
Oh.
probably like a week or 2 weeks after she had moved here. We were out here in like December or something, and then she was kind of the one like scoping things out. She was still able to work remotely from her job, so she moved out here and was doing like yoga lessons or something. So she had to like start the course.
Oh yeah.
So by the time we got here, her room was like fully furnished. She had like Lacoste bed sheets. It was like I'm just setting the scene for you. It was like a beautiful room.
Staged, ready for,
Yeah. And then Carly and I are these like, two like poor kids coming out to LA, and we each had our own individual bedrooms, but Carly had brought an air mattress that we could sleep on together for the time being. And so we literally slept on that air mattress for like a month because we were waiting for all of our furniture to come. And one night she got so drunk and was like yelling at us, being like, why don't you two go share your air mattress? You leave me out of everything. And we're like, we're literally sleeping on the fucking floor.
Oh, like,
and
can we sleep in your bed with you?
Yeah, like you're on this like beautiful bed every night. Like you're welcome to join. But like, let's get to the deeper rooted issue here.
It was, and I had a date in the car because we were all in an Uber.
We were taking her home because she got too drunk, and her friends who were visiting her from out of town were like, we're not going to deal with her.
And so you had to drive, bring her home, and then she berated you.
In the Uber.
And like
I mean,
her
she was
insult
just
was,
so
why don't you go
drunk.
sleep in your bed together?
Yeah, she was like, you two
Yeah.
just share the air mattress and leave me out of
you had
everything.
one air mattress that you both stayed
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What
You
size
even
was
have
the air mattress?
Like a
queen, I think,
wow.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it was
that was
luxurious.
the thing. She was like saying that we leave her out of stuff because we were sharing an air mattress.
That is,
And I'm sure it was like a little, because we were obviously just closer just because we just
Yeah.
hit it off. And like, we liked her a lot too. But
Yeah.
sometimes there's just like a bond you have with someone that you don't have with other people. So I get the context, but it was like, it came out negatively. It came out really negatively.
full circle moment.
She would also do stuff like this all of the time and then never
talk about it after.
address it the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's-
happened all of the time.
Blackout, rage,
Yeah.
and then, hey, good morning.
Mhm.
Oh, yikes. It's good to have a friend, though, when you
Yeah.
have like a toxic person where you can go,
No, we'd
Yeesh.
literally be like,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I was never even around people who got like that drunk. Not that she was like getting too
Yeah,
drunk,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
just had never
yeah.
experienced a crying drunk person who's like, doesn't really make sense in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few roommates like that prior, so I was like well versed.
Where you
But
could just deal with like,
yeah, but I
the-
also was just like, okay, just like have a conversation then.
right. Yeah.
But that was
Speaking of air mattresses, this just reminded me, when I did first move here, I was a little bit of a cowboy. Like, I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't know where I was going to live. I stayed on Matt's couch for a few days. Matt drove me around, helped me find my first place. But I also was waiting for all my furniture to be delivered from New York to LA. And I didn't have a bed. And like, I think it was like the day that I got my first apartment was the day that we all met. And we did the bridal gown video. And I just mentioned, I was like, oh, I got to get an air mattress, I guess. And then the day that we met, were like, oh, no, I have an air mattress. You can borrow mine. And then I ended up sleeping on an air mattress for like a month until my
Yeah.
bed arrived. And
That was so kind.
yeah, that was, truly, that was just made me feel so
Aw.
happy and
Aw.
comfortable in LA. Cause I was like, not only is Matt the nicest guy, but like Matt's friends and like the people here are really nice and generous and like good people. And that really like set the tone for my LA experience, is you giving me that air mattress. So thank
Oh my
you.
God.
Thank you
You're
again
welcome.
for, that was very nice.
Aaron starts crying.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, that was a big
I remember
W
that day
for me.
very clearly for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
I
The
feel like
David's bridal day too.
Yeah.
that's like a very Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. I feel like everyone here, like, that's kind of where they start.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
I literally didn't know you at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know, like, what his financials are like. Like, why would you want to buy a fucking air mattress for a month and
Yeah.
then, like,
you always
you
just
have to
have
deal
it, you
with it?
never
And, like,
use
I
it.
have an air mattress.
Yeah.
So it's like certain people. Some people come here and are like, I fucking made it, bitch. And, like,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
give a shit about other people.
Mhm.
But it's like, I feel like if you have,
Yeah.
a couch, really. I feel like everyone has that, like, general, like, let's all help each other out type of thing.
It was, I mean, we're still friends today, so
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Speaking of that, Aaron and I had probably like 3 or 4 Viners sleep on our couch when
Oh
they
my
first
God.
moved here. Like Jay Cyrus,
In and out.
Ricky Montgomery.
Who's now, like, a
Daniel
traveling
Ratliff.
musician.
Platinum selling musician.
Yeah, I know, that's so. I feel like that's actually so funny.
He
that-
started on our couch. Now he's here. He had, like, his piano in our room.
Yeah, he made his album there.
Yeah.
What year was that? He was staying with you guys?
Yeah. He
It was
literally
when he
lived there. There was,
first
like, a
moved here,
bag
right?
of his, like, clothes in the corner.
When I was living on Western?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know. I can't remember the time. I feel like you moved out at some point.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was a little after. I
You guys were
moved
like a
out.
little like
We were neighbors.
record label of just people,
every single one was
social
a
media
musician.
stars. Yeah,
Yeah, they
come to the
were.
record label's house.
Logie Dogie too.
Oh my God.
Remember Logie
Dogie.
Dogie from Vine?
Where is he?
I have no idea. I
How
forgot.
did this happen? You were just friends with these people, and they were like,
Yeah,
Can I
well,
stay
we were
with you
like
guys,
good
or-
friends
Yeah,
with.
you can stay.
Yeah, and it's funny because all of the guys who stayed with us and ended up like finding their own place liked One Direction after staying with us.
Yeah.
We'd like force them to watch videos.
A house
and
of
listen.
conversion.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because their bed was our living room.
Yeah.
So, like, we would just, like, go out once
Yeah.
they were awake or whatever and, like,
Go to
immediately
Starbucks.
put on
Our
One
Starbucks
Direction
runs
music
in the
videos.
mornings.
Yeah. Oh, that Starbucks was atrocious.
It was very scary, but it was fun.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you had a horrible roommate?
Oh yeah, I've
Matt?
had a horrible roommate. My very first roommate that I ever had was my freshman year of college. So I moved in with one of my like high school buddies, like who was already like one of your really good friends, and we both got into the same college, and we thought, oh, it'd be perfect.
Where did you go to school?
Very funny. The University of Texas at Austin. And we thought it would be a great idea to be roommates. And I'd heard from like people like, oh, you don't want to do that. But I'm like, no, we're already buddies. You know, we like crash together and stuff like already like on the weekends and stuff as friends. It should be no problem. But when we got there, and became roommates, I kind of realized there was like a bit of tension in the air. And I think he, over like the course of like the first few months or weeks of college, you know, we were all kind of like assimilating differently with like making friends and like social groups and stuff. And, you know, I was on the speech team and I had like a bunch of friends that I knew from just doing like high school speech. So I was always just out and hanging out with people. And sometimes I was gone a lot too. I was going on speech tournaments on the weekends. He, I think, got a little jealous that I was spending a lot of time away, or that I just had a whole community of friends and I wasn't maybe spending time with him. So one day he comes in, and it was like a Saturday or Friday or Saturday night, and he had just come from like a football game or a basketball game or something, and I was in my room, and it was like a night where you could go out and party, but I was focused because I needed to memorize my speech because I had a speech tournament in the morning. He comes in, he's like drunk, he's like, oh, what are you up to? I'm like, oh, not much, just, you know, trying to work on memorizing my speech. He's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh shoot. And he answers the phone and he's like, yo, Victor, what's up, man? Yeah, no, man, no, I'm just chilling right now. Oh, we're probably about to go out. I mean, what an insane game. And he's talking on the phone to this guy, Victor, who lives on our floor. And Victor was from Lubbock, Texas. And this is when Texas was playing Texas Tech. And Victor was in town with Lubbock. And Victor was one of my friends. And in my head, I'm thinking,
notepad out, folks.
hopefully I want this to make sense. So I'm listening to him have this conversation. And I go, why would Victor call my roommate? Because it doesn't make sense. Why would you be in your hometown and go, I want to call a dude who lives on our dorm floor just to shoot this shit? Because I'm listening to the phone call conversation. I go, this isn't adding up. And so he's on the phone call going, yeah, man, nah, man, it was so crazy. How's your truck doing, by the way? Like getting into really weird, specific things. And in my head, I start thinking he's not on the phone with anybody. And suddenly during the phone call conversation, I go, hey, give me the phone. I want to say hi to Victor. And he's like, hold on one second. Yo, Matt wants to say hi. No, dude, I just want to let you know, Matt. Okay. All right, man. All right, dude, well, I'll catch you later.
Oh, shit.
Hangs up and he goes, he's busy. And I go,
Oh, it makes me
that's
sad.
that's weird. And so then my roommate leaves and I text Victor and I go, yo, man, were you on the phone with my roommate? And he goes, no.
Oh, God.
And then in that moment, I was creeped out. Because, like, dude, he was talking on the phone for like 3 or 4 minutes to nobody as a way to
present to you.
subconsciously
That is
get
fucked
into my
up.
head that he was having friends and like killing it. And I was,
That's scary.
and it spooked
Oh,
me
it's, like,
so bad.
sad.
So I then call like that. I was even creeped out. Like I couldn't sleep because I was just in a
I
room
live
with
with a serial killer.
someone who was just a hardcore compulsive liar.
Yeah.
And I remember calling like the roommate arrangement like service line and told them my situation, told them the whole story, and they were like, okay, that's really weird. And they were able to move me to a different dorm. But I also told this friend like, hey, this just works better for me. I need to be on another side of campus.
So wait, this roommate was the one that you were friends with in high school?
Yes.
Oh.
And what I realized, he had some issues with lying. And the thing is, though, to this day, most people would be like, no, I would never want that type of person in my life. I think there are certain factors of things that happened in his life he wasn't very like proud of. I'm going to keep him a little vague because like I don't want to like be too on the
Tell
nose
everyone.
with it. But to be honest, I've forgiven him. Have forgiven him. It was a really like scary thing. I have my boundaries with him right now, like as just a friend. But that really spooked me.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Having that
Yeah.
as a roommate, and then
For me, I like
Yeah.
when I hear it, I'm just like, oh, he probably like saw everything that you were doing, and he was just probably like really insecure and sad and lonely. So he felt like, oh, well, I don't want Matt to think that I'm that way. So then he
Yeah.
probably like was overcompensating for it to try to make it look like he. It's just like really sad.
It
Yeah.
is. Ugh, it's such a unfortunate situation too, because it's so easy to disprove.
Yeah.
Like if I was lying about being on the phone with one of your friends, you suspected it, I'd be like, he's definitely gonna ask it. You know what I mean?
It's a weird phobia that I have sometimes. Like ever since then, like if I see someone who's on the phone, like just talking, I'm always like, are they really on the phone? Like with anybody?
Yeah.
Do you
Like
guys
I
ever
think
fake it? Ever fake be on the phone around like in public or around?
I will fake if I want to get out of a conversation. I'll be like, "Oh, hold on one second. I'm sorry," and I'll do this.
Noted.
And I'll get out of a conversation if I'm like, if someone's trying to just like sell me something, or like I'm trying to like get out of a situation and not be rude. But other than that, yeah, no, I don't think I've ever. Yes, hello, Matt King's friend. Yes, I'm with him right now, and that's like that's insane.
never like to psychological manipulation.
No. It's always to get out of a situation.
Yeah,
I'll be,
sometimes I'll, like,
this
have
for
it
me. I
out.
gotta, yep. And then, because you ever just get caught in a conversation, someone's like, anyway, so, I mean,
The sky's blue.
And then, then I have wait, or should I save it and then bring another bad roommate story?
we can come back around.
Okay, let's come back around.
Did you guys live with a lot of roommates in college too?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Did you go to college?
I did. I only lived in a dorm for a year though, and then I moved back home because I didn't. But my roommate, it was interesting because she was. So my best friend, his name was Matt. It's his sister, and like we were friends, but we weren't as close as like Matt and I were. And it was an interesting time. Like I love her dearly, but she is one of those people who's like a really big people. Like she always says yes. She like everything like runs thin. She spreads herself too thin is what I meant to say. And she's so nice all the time, but she had this side of her that was like very angry, and I never saw it until we lived together.
Oh, no.
And I just remember she was also a runner. I think that's how she got her. I don't want to say she has like anger problems or anything, but I think a lot of people pleasers like resent a lot of things because they say yes and they're not doing what they want to do, so they like lash out. And I remember just one time she lost her iPod. iPods were a thing. She's a runner, so she had an iPod to run, and she lost it. And I just remember she like was slamming the door, like where the fuck is? And I was just like, that's the first time I'd ever seen it, and it really scared me. But she was fine. I mean, she apologized. And...
Was she ever like trying to like convince herself that one of you stole it?
No, it was just me and her. She wouldn't have thought I stole it. But she was just really just lashed out. And she wasn't a bad roommate. It was just I never knew if she was going to be like doing something like that. There was like a couple of times that happened, but
Oh yeah, being someone who's like volatile can be like really like
Yeah, you're especially if you've never seen that side of them before, and then you're like in the same room as them where you live.
And I think I knew where it was coming from, so I wasn't like upset with her. I was just like, I hope she's okay. Like
Yeah.
but
I imagine when we get to like the submission listener questions that there's going to be some stuff about like people who I think about this a lot because I hear stories too. Like people who are scared to like be in their own living room or like they don't get along with their roommates, so they just always stay in their room and like they have to go through fights with things. Like I've never thankfully had that experience. I've only lived with friends of mine and it's always worked out. Like
nice.
I always learned so much from living with my roommates. Like just literally no complaints. I've been so blessed, which is great. So I'm not gonna have a lot of the bad roommate side, but I did realize that I was sort of a bad roommate in one regard that I didn't realize until after I lived on my own is like because when you live in college living, especially like going to Rutgers, I lived in a house with 12 people.
dang.
It was and they
too
were
many people.
all
12?
friends. Yeah, it was
Like
12
frat
Jews.
house?
frat house.
It was
Yeah.
it was 12 Jews too.
It's a
So we were
brothel.
all anytime like we had to like get a keg. The calculator we whipped out down to
Oh,
the cents.
Jesus.
Every party was I mean, it was a little exhausting living with 12 Jews, but we all got
Spreadsheets.
along, like no issues. Like I'm still friends with most of them. Like some of them are my best friends. But and so when you live in college and you live with 12 people, like can't really walk around barefoot. Like there's beer everywhere. Like the kitchen's a mess. Like it's just kind of a nightmare. And then I moved in with a couple friends and like I kind of never made that shift of like you have to like mop the floors and like vacuum and put your dishes away. Like I never learned that. And I like kind of
never did that in college.
never. I would just like I would just stay in my room and like if I wanted to eat, I would just go out and eat like in the hall or like go pick up food. Like the
Just
kitchen
the diffusion of responsibility.
yeah, and the kitchen was just like unusable. It was like old garbage like stuff and I just never cooked ever. I only used the microwave, like that was it. And so I never learned how to like take care of a kitchen. And then when I moved in with my real friends who were like adults, I never just like the dishes would be in the sink and I like it didn't even register to me like just take them and put them in the dishwasher for like years. And I like finally it's clicked in my head once I moved out here on my own. I was like, oh God, I don't want these dishes in the sink. Like you got to do that. And so I realized I was the bad roommate in that one regard. And I've talked to them about it and I like apologized. Like, hey, I realized like I was probably like pretty difficult to live with because I didn't really ever like take care of the kitchen. They were like, dude, you're fine. Like we loved you. You're a great roommate. Like just a little messy, not a big deal, not make or break. And I like felt way better about it. But sometimes you might be the bad roommate and not realize. And it's a good learning experience to live with people because then you learn a lot too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think especially in the college years because
Yes.
you're not quite an adult yet.
Yeah. And you're going
But
from
you
living
kind
with
of
your
are.
parents who are like much older than you, living a different life, to living with people your age, which is also a good dynamic too.
Yeah.
I feel like I got like really lucky in college. Like everyone I ever lived with, we were all like pretty like clean and we would have parties at our house and we would all like take the responsibility of cleaning up after it and making I think it's because we're all girls too and we're like we don't want to live in a trash house like we go to like our guy friends' houses who would do the same stuff and like throw parties and I was like how the fuck do you live like this this is repulsive. So like I think we were good about that like always. I never had like a bad roommate that was uncleanly.
Right. Yeah.
I was made out to seem like the bad roommate one time.
Uh-oh.
But I tried to like reevaluate. Was I a bad roommate? And I'm like, no, I don't really think I was.
Let's judge.
We'll be the judge
So
of that.
one day,
Our first listener submission.
is this like my junior year
Is this the texting story?
college? Yes, the texting one.
Okay.
I've told this. Wait, should I not say it?
I
Oh,
think-
tell us. I want to know.
Well, have you said it like twice on Hoot and a Half, but try you can because I feel like the audience may have heard this a few
okay, fine.
times, but you can tell it here.
I haven't
Yeah,
heard
me and
it.
Aaron want to hear.
Okay.
Just skip.
Sorry.
Okay.
Skip like 2 minutes.
Okay, so my roommate, my sophomore junior year, I had the same roommate in college. This is junior year, so our second year of living together. And I think he was kind of getting on edge and going, maybe I want a different roommate. I don't want to live with Matt for our senior year. And he had like kind of a new best friend, and I could tell probably wanted him to live with him. He was a business major, so he was studying but he like pulled like an all-nighter one time. I woke up in the morning. I had like a bowl of oatmeal, had my drink, and left. And but I was like talking with him. I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, just this exam. Like he was really stressed out. I then go to the bus stop. I'm at the bus stop. I get a text on my phone from my roommate, and it says, dude, Matt is such a little shit. He came down this morning and completely shoved my all of my my study notes and everything off to the side and gulped his drink so loud. I can't
His drink so loud.
I can't stand him as a roommate or something like that. But sent it to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, like it. So then I was like, ooh, one, shouldn't have sent it to me. Second, he's making stuff up. I never once sat down at the table, never once touched his stuff. So second, he embellished the story to vent to a friend and added like something to make me seem more worse. So I don't respond at all. And then like 45 minutes like go by, and then I get a text, and it was like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm so sorry about it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm pretty sure I didn't respond because I wanted him to apologize to my face. And then he avoided me for like an entire like day or two, and then finally came and like sat down and was just like, listen, I messed up. And I go, you know what? I understand. That was a private message and you were frustrated. You had pulled an all-nighter and everything. The only thing that I'm frustrated about and upset with is that you embellished and you kind of lied, because I didn't touch any of your stuff. I went and sat down right there at the coffee table. Like,
What'd he say?
He was like,
He goes,
I know.
He goes, Victor? Yeah, what's up, man?
Stop. Oh, man.
I feel like when it's something like that, it's just like it had gone past its point.
Yeah.
I feel like he was like,
Yeah.
I need a new
because it
situation.
seems like it probably wasn't the first time he'd been texting.
Probably,
about
yeah,
you.
yeah. I know. But and also the thing is, I forgave him, and we're still we're still decent friends. And I
Yeah.
think he really respects on how much I was able to drop it, because I think most people would be like, no, screw you.
Yeah.
But I had so many good times with him. We had really good
He also
2
was up
years
all
together.
night, an all-nighter. You didn't sleep.
Totally.
It's not operating at full capacity.
It's not like he was like, I fucking hate Matt.
Yeah, he was just
I want
frustrated.
him to die.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and then Karma kind of like, I don't know even know if I would call it karma, but there was a girl that was really interested in him, but he kind of wanted to like call it off and say like, this isn't going to be a thing, so don't think it's going anywhere. And she like came over to hang out with him one night, and he was trying to have that talk with her, being like, hey, I think we should kind of like end things. But they still had their night. She left, and then he sent a text to his friend. Who he thought he was saying she came over. It was really, really nice, and I don't think she's taking the hint that I'm not interested in her, and sent it to her.
What is his
Oh my God.
I think because he had like a new Android phone, and it's just confusing as hell. And he admitted to that he had done that. I'm like,
Oh my God.
No.
Did she respond?
yeah, I don't really remember. I don't think like I followed back
That
up.
Well, she
on
got the hint then.
Yeah.
God, that's the worst.
It's crazy because that happened to you. It was like someone we know, remember, like years ago, accidentally
Ooh.
texted you.
Oh, yeah, I know who
Yes,
you're
someone
talking about.
accidentally.
Didn't they
It's
send like a
happened to-
voice memo too?
of them explaining
later.
what the
That happened
situation
to
was.
you also, the same
Oh.
person.
And then the person made a
Don't
fake
remember.
Snapchat account
Yeah.
to then screenshot a fake conversation of them standing up
For you.
for me to like a really mean fan.
But then Matt
But the fan was the
Googled-
person.
Yeah, the Matt Googled the Snapchat name, and it tied to this person's
Old
YouTube channel, so he knew that it was all fake. It was crazy.
And I had to call him out straight up and just been like, you lied to
Crazy.
me.
You're right.
But he's a person who I've also kind of forgiven in a way.
Yeah,
like
I mean, that stuff is just like,
I have my
whatever.
boundaries, but like
Yeah,
you got to forgive.
yeah.
But I couldn't imagine like getting caught like that.
Yes, it's bad. It just
Well, then he got caught for something real bad a few years later. So
Yeah, oh, we'll
Me?
talk about
No,
that.
not you.
Oh,
No.
that one? Oh, so me catching someone else?
oh no,
Oh.
who?
No,
What?
we'll talk about it after.
yeah. I think this is really tough to follow for.
Yeah.
How many? Like, I feel like I've had a lot of roommates.
Same.
And so you had that one roommate, and then was I your
I've
first
had
roommate?
you, I've had her and you, and I mean like our other roommates.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Carly and I have a fun list of roommates.
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
couch
So when the
surfers.
first girl left after a year because we shared a bed for too long.
Yeah.
Wait, you shared the bed for a year?
No, she
no,
left
I'm just
after
kidding.
you.
I'm just kidding. She just
We
left.
still sleep on the air mattress together.
Yeah. So after that, we lived together for like 3.5 years, Carly and I, and we had 4 roommates over that span. So maybe
Are
that's
you guys bad? Are you
something-
guys the bad roommates?
No.
Is it us?
So the next roommate after her was a girl we found on Craigslist. She was a flight attendant, so she was
Never
never
home.
It was
there.
amazing. Half the
But
month
then
she was
one
gone.
time we heard her watching one of our YouTube
Oh,
videos.
yeah. I
And we were like,
forgot.
oh my God. But then she wound up leaving after like 6 months because she was moving in with her boyfriend.
Okay.
And then the next roommate we found after that was a French woman off of Craigslist.
Literally
list
landed from France
on the
came
4th
to
of
move with
July.
us.
Like,
on the 4th of July.
speaks French, like literally didn't know what she was saying half of the time.
Yeah.
But she was so nice.
So she'd walk in the house and go, hello. Every time.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
She was so nice and so sweet, but she had this horrific habit of cooking fish in the microwave.
Oh,
So we
God.
would come home in the whole apartment. Like it would not, and like our apartment was a relatively good size.
Yeah.
Like you could hide
spacious.
in
The
certain
fish smell
parts.
is
In the
unforgivable.
micro-
No, it was
Microwave?
in our clothes.
Like
It
at
was-
least if you do it in the oven, then you can like bake out the scent, whatever.
Like
but
an
like
Emily Mariko situation, like doing the tuna and the ice. Like
no, it
this-
was
No.
like frozen fish, put it in the microwave.
for probably like
Did you
20
ever
minutes.
confront her and say,
No,
hey,
one because I feel like
It was like
it's
her culture, maybe?
yeah, like
I don't know.
Like,
I just don't
yeah.
know.
It was just so bad. And then it was the first time it happened, I'm pretty sure. We came home and we were having a pregame there. Like we invited probably like 30 people over our apartment. And we
Yeah.
were like, what the fuck? Like, how do you get rid of this? It would literally smell for 24 hours when
Yeah.
she would do it.
Oh
It was
my
like
God.
the worst thing. That was awful.
Yeah.
Oh, smells is bad. Like people who smell or like do smelly things.
Just put it in the
I
oven.
know.
Cook it in the oven.
Yeah.
I like with the hello.
Yeah. No, she did it every
It was so
time.
I'm gonna start doing that in my house.
It was, yeah, she like literally sounded like Mrs. Doubtfire.
hello.
And then Andrew Sawicki lived with us too,
Mhm.
who was
Who's that?
Shane's camera guy. Now
Oh,
does
yeah.
stuff with
That was really
Garrett
fun.
Watts.
Garrett. Yeah, he was great.
He was such a good,
was a good
roommate, but
roommate.
like Carly and I lived for the tea we would hear through those walls.
Oh yeah,
Because the apartment walls were pretty thin.
Yeah.
And there was
You would listen to him talk?
well, we didn't even have to
drama?
like
no, it wasn't like
no.
listen. It was just like we could hear it.
Yeah.
It was just happening.
Because he'd always put his calls on speakerphone.
yeah,
Like there were a few times where like I went up to the wall in
in
Carly's
moments
room.
of desperation, yes.
Yeah.
because my
It was-
room and his room had a wall.
Yeah,
in between.
but then sometimes you could just straight up hear, like if our bedroom doors were open,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you could just hear what was
What
going
happened
on
to
in
the
there.
French woman?
She
Oh wait, it was Andrew and then her, because we were moving out.
no, we all leave at the same time because they increased our rent.
I can't remember, but I remember telling her like we were moving out, and she was like, "Can I stay?" And I was like, "You're not on the lease. I don't unless you can pay the whole thing. I don't think you can stay." I'm pretty sure she was our last one.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, she all just moved out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I can't remember.
It doesn't really matter, but
Well, because I know that Andrew was there when we got the paper. Our apartment complex was like bought by some other management company, and then they're like, "We're increasing the rent by $800," and we were like, "No, you're not." And we were like, "What do we do?" And Andrew was definitely there for that.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much longer we stayed for.
I don't know. I'm confused now.
Well,
Doesn't really
well,
matter.
Anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hello.
But yeah, so we lived with 4 different people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And none of them
you
were,
guys
like, horrible.
survived dealing with that too, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes a person come in and break up a friendship or
Oh
like
no.
try and
We
It was-
weren't like friends with any of them.
Yeah.
Except for like Andrew and then the first person. But the
Yeah.
other people were just like rando
Roommates.
Craigslist who were like never
Placeholders.
there.
yeah, that's nice too.
I was also a bad roommate at one point. I almost set my entire house on fire when I was
How?
in college. This was back like when I would like smoke cigarettes in college, and we had like 2 huge like decks and a very old school like house, probably built like in the 30s and stuff. I was out on the back patio and I had a cigarette, and this was so dumb. I then put the cigarette out, and like there was a corner on the deck, and it was like wood rot, like it was like really wet like wood in this corner.
Oh, no.
And it just looked like a little ashtray kind of a thing. And I put it out in there, and then we go downstairs to like watch a movie, and then we go back upstairs to like, I don't know, smoke weed again, and the porch is just on fire. like it's just like the whole corner of it is just completely on fire. And I'm like, oh my God. It was like, was someone lighting off fireworks? Like, what is this? And then I realized it was me. I was a bad roommate. I put out that cigarette. And so we're all having to go get water and put it out. And we managed to like put it out. It didn't catch onto the house. But if I had put it out there and have gone to bed, the whole house would have gone up in flames.
Oh my God, that's
I'll
so
And
say.
so I remember, because like when it happened, like the damage was there, but it was like still kind of minimal. Like we didn't need to tell the landlord, and we also didn't need to call and tell our parents. And one of the roommate was like, I need to call and tell my mom. And I go, no, you're not. We're not going to call and tell your mom. I'm going to fix this. And this never happened. And he was like, no, I still need to tell my mom. And I remember getting so
Why
upset.
would he have to tell his mom?
Some people
Because he just like, I don't know, he was just a good kid and felt like he
Goody
needed to
two-shoes.
tell them. And I go, no, fix it.
Lame.
So
Get
I
Get a
bought,
life.
I
Like,
bought
what?
wood.
What do they have to do with it?
Unless his mom's like the landlord.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
His mom is just that type of lady. And
Yeah.
He was just like a
Get a
good
life.
kid.
Tattletale.
But I got like power tools and the wood and measured it all out, and I redid the
Wow.
entire part of that deck, and you could never tell that it had
Wow,
caught
good
on
job,
fire.
Matt.
I actually went back to the house because like students still live in it, and sometimes we'll
Hello.
go knock and be like,
Hello.
"Can we just see like what this place looks like?" And I went there and I go, you see how this looks really newer compared to everything else? I go, I built this.
That's
Yeah.
really funny. I just want to say, I don't think that in that situation you were a bad roommate. You just made a dumb mistake.
Yeah,
Correct,
Yeah.
but I could have been.
Could have burned
yeah.
down
But I
the
was like,
house.
it was a hazardous choice. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
to me, like bad roommate is like you don't do the dishes, you don't take the trash. You're
yeah.
like this was just like like not a conscious thing you did.
right.
So
I-
don't like
Yeah, don't beat yourself.
Thanks.
you just made a dumb mistake.
Yeah.
You know, like
I still think about it all the time where I'm like, gosh, I can't
I
imagine
know.
if that house just went up in flames.
I'm always worried about like because I live in a condo. I'm like, what if I accidentally started a fire like and all these people's
No,
Like,
in
burn
condos,
down.
there's firewalls in between every apartment.
really?
Like the walls
I
in
didn't know
between.
that.
Yeah, well, like especially with newer buildings, like there's literally
not
like
known.
fireproof walls in between. So if your apartment catches fire, the neighbors will not catch on fire.
This happened the other day, so I just wanted to share it. But a friend texted me and he was like, hey, what number house did you live in college? Because I lived on a party street and one of our houses was like the party house.
Hell yeah.
And he was like, someone who works for me, her friends live on the street. And I wanted to see if it was the same house. It was not the same house, but I wound up Googling it because I was 45 and this person was 49. I was like, oh, I don't remember what 49 looked like. So I Googled it and like the house now is completely renovated, gorgeous, like a double family home.
Yeah.
But then on the Google images, it shows our house, like the house I lived in. And I was staring at it for probably 30 minutes, just like cracking up. Like, how I have to show you guys. It's like insane. It literally looks like
Like a crack house?
yes. No, I swear to God, we called it the murder house. I lived on a graveyard.
Oh,
And it
my
was like
gosh.
right when American Horror Story came out. So we were like 45, the murder house.
You know Google Street View, like you can go on the street. Do you know that there is a like a time marker on it where you can go back over the years at the location and look
Stop.
at the house and stuff. So it's interesting. Go look back on it goes back to like 2008.
Oh my God.
And you can like
Whoa.
see your car may be parked out in front of your
Yeah.
house, or your dad may be mowing the lawn
Oh
or
my God, I
something,
have
or
to do
someone
that.
was visiting. Like my friend's car was outside of my parents' house one time
Wow,
out
that's
on it, and I
really
go,
cool.
"Why was your car parked outside of my house?" Because he goes, "Because I was in Europe and I needed to leave
Oh my
my
God.
car somewhere, and I left my
Oh my
car in front of your
God.
parents' house."
You have to tell me how to do it. Is it pretty simple?
Yeah, you have to do it on a desktop. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can do it mobily. But just in that, there's a top corner and it has a little time
Okay.
marker, and you can go back and
Whoa,
like see
yeah.
your old cars and stuff.
That's some nostalgic stuff where you're like, oh my
Mine
God, I forgot
is
about
still
this.
like that. Like
Uh,
it's still like the Google map of like my house that I grew up in. It's like still my parents' cars that are out in front of it. And like
Wow.
my neighbors blowing leaves.
Oh wow.
Pretty crazy.
Have you? I feel like it should be like if somebody came to your house and go, "I used to live here. Can I see what it's like?" Would you let them in?
I think I would if they had proof.
Yeah, I would be like, show me pics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then
okay.
you're just letting a crazy stranger into your house.
I think it depends also. Like if it's like like if I were in college and someone did, they'd be like, yeah, come in. You want a drink? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like the mindset. Like if I had kids and I was home alone as a woman and like some man came into it, I'd be like,
I need some proof. But I really, when I go back home, sometimes I want to go to like my first childhood home and like leave a note and be like, if you can find a time when I'm in town,
go there.
I would love to come over and just like stand in like the room and see, I don't know what's changed, go in the backyard and all of that. Every time I'm in town, I go and ride my bike right by the house.
So I feel like we still like. Do you still have dreams about like your first house, like your childhood house? I have so many dreams that take place.
You literally like an episode ago, you're like, I don't have dreams.
If I ever do, it's always like that. Like the 3 times a year that I have a dream, it's like in my childhood home.
I wonder what that means.
Or the school dream. Those are like the only 2 dreams I have. I don't know. It's really weird. But don't you feel like that might like distort your memories though? Like if you were sure a room was here and maybe it wasn't there, then you're going to be like, I know that's not how I remembered it.
Well, our first house was in one of those like, tract housing neighborhoods where it was like 6 different floor plans. And so
you pick the one that you wanted.
But I am always looking at the houses that are for sale in that neighborhood because I want to see what other people did with like that floor plan in their home. And I can just keep refamiliarizing myself with it. So I know my height difference, everything will seem so small.
Right. Yeah.
Because I wasn't that tall back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only one that I would want to see now is that house I just showed you guys in college. I would love to see if they've like made any.
Do you think students are living in it?
I would imagine, yeah.
I bet they'd let you in for sure.
The whole street is just like.
And you lived on a graveyard?
Yeah, it was on a graveyard.
Or a cemetery?
We had like a big backyard, but then like where our fence ended, it was a cemetery.
Did you ever have like spooky experiences or
Did
like
you go
dreams?
run around drunk in it? Like.
Not that I remember. I feel like definitely not. I don't remember doing that.
That sounds like a great idea when you're drunk.
To go into a cemetery when you're drunk?
It depends how old. I don't know. It depends how old the cemetery is.
Like, I don't like if they do that thing at Hollywood Cemetery where they like
Massachusetts.
Like they play movies at the Hollywood Cemetery. Like that seems a little like in poor taste.
Dude, those people are buried at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. They already have like the ego going out in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. They love the attention that people are coming and like being acknowledged.
You're not like on graves, are you?
No. Not in the lawn. Some people
you just rest your drinks on the
on the headstone.
I can't remember. I've done it like once, and I don't remember if they were the flat gravestones or not. But I think that's in a different part. Like I don't think that they would have
sometimes like if you're on that back part, like you can't start getting really close. Like there's one like they're like they're serving up popcorn and like hot dogs right by Alfred Hitchcock's grave. It's like right there.
Yeah,
but I think he would want that. Like
okay. All right, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in Western Mass it's a little different.
Yeah,
I just would feel really bad if like someone was walking around and I was like shit faced and like peeing on someone's tomb, which like was a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see that house and just like any of those houses that were like an integral part of my college life. Like I want to know how they've changed, what they look like now, who's living in it, like the stories. Oh, what a time.
I want to just go to our old apartment and see what they did with the place.
I do want to see that too.
Yeah. Well,
have you guys had, how many like sets of roommates have you had?
Oh my gosh.
Like a ton.
More than I can count.
Yeah,
like,
I've had a lot
freshman
too.
year roommate, then the house sophomore year, then a different house junior and senior year. Then I lived with one friend. Then I moved into a house with 3 friends. Then I moved into Brooklyn with 3 friends, and then one of them left, and then I moved here.
I've lived in 8 different places the 8 years I've lived in LA.
Yeah, you move every year. That's
I don't know how you do that. That's like
now this is the first time we've like
stayed more than a year.
Stayed more than what we intended.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really don't want to leave because sometimes I always feel like moving makes time go by faster, if that makes sense.
It's also just a huge waste of money.
And time, too.
Yeah.
To like live out of the boxes and then unpack and repack.
But then you kind of like also declutter and minimalize your life every time you move, which is kind of nice.
Like sell stuff.
Like I love how like less possessions I own, I always feel like more happy.
Every time you move, that's what I try and get rid of like 10% of my stuff every time I move, whether it's like furniture you give away or sell or like just...
There's some trend that people were talking about where they said you should get rid of 2 things every day.
That's a little insane.
Every day. Try to make an effort of just getting rid of 2 things every day, and it will like gently like progress. But I'm always trying to sell stuff on eBay.
But then you're not gonna have anything. can you like bring stuff into your life when you get rid of it?
Just open up a drawer and look at just how much stuff you
trinkets.
don't need
Yeah.
and just declutter it.
Like declutter the junk drawer or like the box that you've just picked up and moved to every place and never unpacked.
It's filled with wires and cords and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
that we think we need.
But dude, you know that the one time
Yeah.
you need that cord,
That's
you're gonna
what
be
it
like,
is.
damn it,
I
this
know.
printer, I really need to print something out and I don't have the cord for it.
Yeah. Oh, have you guys ever fallen for a roommate? Have you ever lived with the opposite sex?
No.
I should say.
I have not.
Ooh, no. Oh, yeah, I did live with the opposite
Oh,
sex.
yeah, that's right, when you were here.
But I lived with like a brother and a sister. And so I was
Yeah.
closer with the brother than the sister. And so, no.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Other than the people staying with us, like I
Yeah.
haven't had a long-term male roommate, I don't think.
That's such a risky proposition if you're living with someone and then you start dating and then it's like, well, then if you break up,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
One of my Pilates instructors, her boyfriend is her, like, they started out as roommates and now they're dating. They've been dating for like years, but
Oh my God.
so it's a happy story. Yeah.
yeah. But I was like, whoa.
Now we'll move on to my favorite segment of the show, listener submissions. If you guys don't know, every week we get submissions from you via email, sometimes on Instagram, and the voice of the people, Aaron Guilfoyle, is going to read some submissions from you guys, and then we'll debate.
And you can email us at goodinfluencespodcast.com. The topic of the episode is posted the day before on our Instagram account, so make sure you're following us there so that you can submit your cues.
I'm
your
excited.
A's.
I'm excited for these.
Oh, my phone isn't.
Yeah, you do our Patreon episodes with us sometimes. It's all this.
I'm down anytime.
Okay. Hey, gang. Hope this email finds you well. Your topic could not be more timely due to active sanctions occurring in my household.
Sanctions in my household?
I live in a 2-story townhouse with 2 other girls in a city known for its brutally hot summers. I'm originally from rural Maine and did not have air conditioning growing up, and my parents still don't. While we didn't have AC, we lived on a river and had the luxury of taking a dip whenever we needed. However, the city I currently live in now, people live and breathe by air conditioning. As an adult, one silver lining of selling my soul to the man was being able to enjoy central air in my townhome. But we are now in our second summer of AC battles with one of our roommates. This roommate, let's call her Karina. She's an only child and has the vibes. Okay, whatever that means.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I get it though. I'm not one of those, but one example is her shamelessly changing the AC to 74 degrees no matter what. During the day, whatever. But at nighttime, I consider a thermostat of 74 to be a war crime. When confronted, she claimed she is literally freezing if it's below 72 degrees, and that was her absolute low because she might be cold otherwise. I am quoting. While I would love to sleep at 67 degrees, I recognize that's a bit much and would settle on 70. Every day I turn it to 70. She waits for me to leave and then turns it to 74 and so on and so forth. It is so obvious we're in a war, but also a statement of who's going to bring it up. For context, U.S. prison temperature regulates are 68 to 76 degrees. Let me know your thoughts.
This is so good.
What you would do in your own preferred sleeping temps. If I had to guess, Mike likes a 71 degree, Matt 69, Carly 73, and Erin 67. While you did like the subtle jab at only children, I do like that you quoted me at a 67.
Wow.
I'm a 67 for sure.
Yeah, like sleeping.
I am.
74 will wake me up.
Oh, 74 is too hot.
It is a boiling, like you might as well just put the sun on Earth. Like
Yeah.
at that point, that is too fucking hot.
I am the committing the war crimes. Me
You're
and this is-
74?
when Adam's not home, I literally don't put the air conditioning on at night. I will just
What?
like. Well, first of all, in LA,
Why?
it
Do you
gets.
sleep with your windows open at least?
So, if it's like pretty like warm out, yeah, I love the heat. I hate being cold. I
Okay.
hate air conditioning.
Okay,
like,
so give me the rundown of your bed vibes.
like just a regular blanket, but like if it's in
Like a
LA,
comforter, a duvet, like
yeah, like a regular like blanket, like a regular Buffy blanket.
Okay.
Just like a sheet with a duvet cover on it, whatever you call it.
Well, that's not
a
a sheet.
comforter.
It's a
A
comforter.
comforter, a quilt, blanket. What I don't know.
Guys,
What-
it's okay.
I don't know the
A
terminology.
because
comforter
I
and
don't
a
know what we're
duvet
talking
you
about.
put over the comforter.
I guess I don't know the difference between a comforter and a duvet.
Duvet
No, the
is the
duvet's what you put it
pillowcase.
in.
Like
Yeah, I have the
That's what I
case.
thought.
Yeah.
So
No, but isn't it a duvet cover?
yeah, there's a duvet cover,
For
there's a
a
duvet,
duvet.
and a comforter. So I don't know the difference.
A comforter and a duvet are like the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I was
have.
asking. That's
Yeah,
what I
I
was
have
asking.
that. Like when you look at a bed, like the blanket.
Well,
like,
if it's so hot, so that's why I was curious. Like, are you just sleeping with a sheet, or do you
no,
have an actual
I have like
comforter?
a regular comforter, but
Your balls don't sweat.
I do not sweat. I've never.
Do you wear clothes?
Yeah. I wear like shorts and a t-shirt. I've never sweat at night. I like run pretty cold normally. Like for me, I love the heat and I just like being warm. But like in LA, it gets pretty cold at night. Like it'll get down to like 68 at night. So if you just like crack a window, you get the breeze from the outside, and that counts as like air conditioning to me.
But doesn't it make you sick if you sleep with the window open?
No.
I heard
Urban legend.
I think it's fresh air, but I get. So now me and Adam have like, we do this, like, it's not like a battle. It's more of like a joke where like, he'll come home and he's like, well, thank God it's 1,000 degrees in here. And it'll be like 74, but he'll put it down to like 70. And then I'll get really cold and I'll move it up to like 73. And like, it's just this daily thing that me and him are, it's not a battle, but I totally get, like, that's a really big thing to be comfortable in your own home.
Yeah.
And the temperature is, like, I think there's like Torah, like arguments in the Talmud from like 1,000 years ago of like, if it's in the summer, you should be opening the window, and like who's right and who should be comfortable. But that's a big thing I think about living with significant elder.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If this was presented to a jury, if it was 74 degrees, people would then have to take clothes off to become more comfortable.
I get it.
Whereas you could just bundle up
I get it.
and be cozy and deal with it.
So what do you prefer to sleep at?
Between 67 and 69.
Me too. That's usually I just set it to 60.
Well.
I think some days it's
Zane
even
will sometimes
66.
get crazy and he'll turn it down to 65 and I'm like, well,
I
let's
know.
go,
Yeah.
baby.
I will wake up with a cold if I sleep in that cold.
Bundle up, get cozy.
My blanket situation, we have the comforter, and then I have a blanket over it, and then like a little quilt.
I have a
And
Barabee.
I love,
weighted
bundling.
blanket.
My next question is, at that temperature, if you have another person in bed with you, isn't it
Yes.
so hot?
It will get warmer if there's another person, but
Okay.
like I don't know. For me, just like the climate of LA brings the temperature down so much at night that like you just don't really. I don't know. I never get hot
but
at night.
she said she lives with 2 other roommates.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to
Two against one. If the
Yeah.
other then get the other girl on your side and be like, tough titties, girl. Like we're
Tough
going.
titties.
Yeah. And the fact that this is now the second summer that it's happening, I know
Yeah.
you're doing a like quirky little standoff, but like you gotta just fucking give it to her and be
And
like,
preach your
listen.
truth. Go, I grew up in Maine without AC.
Yeah.
This is my time.
Yes.
I want AC.
I
get
earned
it.
this.
Yeah.
If it's 2 against 1, you got to just suck it up.
And at that point, just be like, I'll fucking pay for it. You don't even have to pay for the electricity or
Right,
whatever the
yeah.
fuck it is.
And you should also stage conversations with some of your friends when you come over and passively be like, she likes to have it up to 74. Make
They
her
just
feel
came
bad.
in and they're like, oh my God, it's so hot
Yes.
in here.
When you right before you put the key in, look to your friends and go, when you go in, complain about how hot it is.
It's your time to shine.
Or fake a phone call.
Yeah, fake a phone call.
Oh, Victor.
Get a little manipulative with it. Start conditioning her to realize that she's a crazy person.
Yeah, I would just like, really come to an understanding.
There also
here.
is like, I don't know. I mean, not that we've worked in offices, but like in New York, I would remember too, like if you work in an office building or like you go into an office buildings are always like fucking freezing.
Yeah.
And like the worst is when it's summertime, you're wearing summertime clothes, and then you go into your office and
Freezing.
now it's like 38 degrees in there. You have to put
Yeah.
on a sweatshirt,
Bring
put
a
on
blanket. Get over it.
But it's the summertime. I want to be hot in the summer. Like that's, I don't know. That's just how my brain works. Like I want to
Yeah.
feel like I don't like that I'm wearing a sweatshirt in here. I wish I was wearing like a button down and like
So summer's your favorite season.
100%. I
Okay.
love the summer. I love the heat. Love being hot. Like there was,
Do you hate the winter?
hate. That's why I moved out. One of the main
Yeah.
reasons I moved out of New York was like, it's like
Snow.
so many days in a row. You wake up and you look at the temperature and it just says 7.
Okay,
It's
follow
7
up.
degrees
7, yeah.
outside.
Follow up. You lived in New York as an East Coaster myself. I know how humid the summers get there. Were we cranking the AC then, or were you still
Oh.
being a psycho?
No, in the humidity, that sucks.
Okay,
I really have come to
gauging here. Where
no, you're right. The humidity that's unbearable. If you live in a
Okay.
humid climate and you can't sleep at night where it's still 90 degrees and humid at night, you got to go AC. But that's why
Yeah.
I love LA, because you can be in the heat and you just don't need, I don't know, just like all natural. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm done preaching about
I will
the
tell
temperatures.
you, I grew up the same as her. I didn't have central air in my home. We had to put like the AC units in our windows, and my parents wouldn't do it until like it became unbearably hot.
Yeah.
So like my life was living with the windows open and like
Yeah.
a fan blowing on me.
Yeah.
Also, back in the day too, like when our parents were like, I remember too, when the AC was on, every door had to be closed, every
Yes.
window had to be closed because it's so
And then
expensive.
Yeah.
And if you crack a window, that's like $100 out the window for like 30
Literally.
seconds of
Out the
hot
window,
air.
yeah.
And then if you like put a blow dryer on, it fucking takes out all of
or
the...
turn the oven on to make food.
Yeah.
Like everything's outside, grill outside. But now like all these devices have become so much more energy efficient where like it doesn't really cost $1,000
Yeah.
a day to cool your house. But I still have that like anxiety of like,
Yeah.
why is the AC on if this front door is wide open? Like we're literally just wasting energy. So I get it.
Funny.
I feel like I'm like good during the day. Like for me, it's just the night. So like I get your during the day stuff. For me, it's my sleeping temperature has to be that long.
And I get that too. Like I know that I'm abnormal. Most people like to sleep in the cold, but like I just don't like people will sleep like and like sweat at night and like they get hot at night. I don't get that at all.
Oh, okay.
I am
I
yeah.
can
Well,
feel
that's
it.
lucky for
It'll
you.
wake me up. All right, next question or
We'll
submission.
see what it is.
Next.
My roommate shit in our kitchen.
Alrighty, starting off hot.
Is your
Hey
roommate a dog?
everyone, huge fans of all of you. Lots of love. But before I say this story, I want to ask you not to say my name. I told my roommate I would never tell anyone about this story. She is my best friend to this day, even after graduation, but I have to tell this to you. We were in 4th year when school was online for COVID, and she was writing her exam at the kitchen table since the Wi-Fi is best there. She was writing her exam that was 4 hours and totally cramming for time. She swears she had no time to go to the bathroom, but I don't know how much I believe that. So she proceeded to shit her PJ shorts at the kitchen table so she was able to finish her exam in time. Needless to say, I will never let her live this down, and this is not even the worst that's happened at this kitchen table. Love the pod. The 4 of you have the best chemistry and bring something so different to the table in the best way.
Damn.
Thank you.
That is you sanctioned. That is a war crime. You're moving out. There's
That's
no
a crazy person.
There is no that. I mean, truly, that's like you need to be like that is not.
I think it's like a little funny though. Like I'm picturing them like giggling and like dying laughing over it for the rest of their life.
Aaron, this person was not like blackout drunk and like couldn't their body shut down. This person was studying for an exam.
No,
she was doing an
taking
online
an
Sorry,
exam.
taking an exam and goes, I don't have time to get up and use the restroom.
What if she didn't? What if she had like a minute to finish and she had like 3 pages left? I don't know. I feel like
I'm just going to shit my pants at
I
the
kind of
kitchen
get what
table.
you mean.
Yeah.
I kind of get like if it was that big of an emergency.
Take the laptop in the bathroom with you
Sure.
and start typing away.
I just feel like if it were me, I wouldn't be able to finish it knowing my pants are full of shit.
Yeah, no, I mean that for sure.
Like I'd be like, I'm all out of sorts now. I feel like it saves time and
Yeah.
heartache. to Just go poop really fast and come back.
It's also just like what
And
kind
have
of
a-
poop was it? You know,
Yeah,
like
like,
was it like
like a-
trickling
like-
off the chair or just like sitting in her shorts?
There's no guys. You are justifying a crazy person.
I think
This is
it's-
not.
well, to be
Well,
fair,
I'm looking for context.
I
He's like, I did this.
I have intentionally pooped my pants while sitting on a chair.
Wait, you've
Wait,
intentionally
what?
I
pooped
was a kid. I was a kid. It's
Okay,
a different
okay,
situation.
okay.
No, but like I remember it to this day because my mom, I had gotten in trouble for something, and then we were going to take our dog to like the vet or something. So she was like, "Sit in this chair. You're in a timeout until we leave."
Oh, when
And
you're a child,
and she
that's-
was like, "Yeah, but I was probably like 8,
19.
9. Yeah, no, you know, like aware enough to know that I needed to go to the bathroom, but I was so mad at her because she was like, "Don't get out of this chair." So then I literally sat there and tried as hard as I could to shit myself.
Oh my gosh! And then you let her know. Did you
Be,
let her
like,
know?
So conniving. And when she came over, she's like, "Why does it smell like that?" And I was like, "You told me I wasn't allowed to get up."
So you did a spite shit.
Yeah, I took a
my
spite
God.
shit.
Well,
All right,
you told me I wasn't allowed.
that I can support being 9 years old, but
I don't know. I
man.
think it's like
I
just
think
a
it's kind
funny
of funny.
thing.
It's kind of if you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I'd be like, that's disgusting.
I could not.
And think about like in your college years too. Like she's been sitting there for 4 hours. You're in COVID. You're probably like delirious, delusional. Like if Carly did that, I'd be like, what? Like it'd be funny. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, especially if like you're close. If it was like if my roommate I didn't know and they did that, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Our
But
French
like,
roommate.
yeah.
It was the fish.
Yeah, like I think there's like
fish came
different
out.
situations in which it can be perceived in terms of like psychotic or just like, oh my God, you're
Yeah.
insane, like as a
Yeah.
lol. But I don't know. For me, like this one's a little funny. I would still live with her.
Okay. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I would like to know. I feel like it helps to know the person too.
Totally.
You know, because if you just hear it, it's like crazy. But If it
Yeah.
was me, you'd be like, what?
Matt, don't ever take a shit in my house, please.
Oh, I have
In
a
the
couple
kitchen.
times.
No, in the kitchen,
He
I
means
mean.
in the kitchen.
I always like gotta let people know if I'm gonna like poop in their house. Like I need to use your
Yeah, Carly like won't go
restroom.
at my house. I mean,
It's
just
'cause-
go.
Well, because for me, it's like everyone uses that bathroom. So how embarrassing if someone goes right after me. It stinks.
Well, we have 2 restrooms.
Y'all have tons
Yeah.
of like products in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I really have to go, I'll go.
Yeah.
But
She's like, I have to go home now.
Wait, I thought girls don't poop.
I don't
Aaron
specifically.
doesn't. But that's a fact.
Okay. Horror roomie story, period edition.
Oh, God.
I like
Ready,
don't
boys?
even know if I can read this out loud. My
You should have Matt read it out.
Sorry, like, or do you want me to read
Sure.
it? Okay.
Oh boy.
Horror roomie story period edition. My boyfriend and I used to live with another couple, and the girl has given me countless stories and slight PTSD. I describe her as a pick-me girl that rarely gets picked. Absolutely, her worst offense was that she would stick her used pads/liners to the sink. It happened over 3 times,
I'm
but we
going home.
never addressed it with them. Her boyfriend usually was the one to clean it up, and there was another bathroom we could use. Honestly, I wasn't quite sure how to explain to a 23-year-old woman that the sink isn't where used pads go. Hope you enjoy my trauma. I love watching.
I'm like, the sink?
Yes, you're just stick it on the sink.
That sounds
I mean,
like.
like unanimous. That's just insane. Don't do that. It's
Yeah.
pretty clear. Like, that's not what you do.
Was she saving it for later?
The only thing
don't
I'm like,
know.
was it a kink for her boyfriend? Like, what
Yeah.
would ever prompt another human to do this?
It has to be something maybe from like she just never learned where things go.
to just.
Like maybe.
But isn't that like so?
There's blood on it.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
just
it's
some people.
disgusting.
unsanitary?
It's disgusting.
That's like an intimate thing that like maybe she just didn't know. Like maybe she rinsed them off growing up, and
That's
like
what I was
thought
thinking,
maybe like
like,
you're supposed to clean them
dry
out and then
them.
throw them away. You don't know how people grow up. And
Okay,
like,
the fact that you are sitting here justifying this, but no justice for shit girl.
because I think shit girl made an intentional decision to
So
be
did
like.
she.
So did she.
No, but this girl, I feel like maybe just
Shit
didn't
girl.
have all the information. Like she maybe grew up
How
in a
old?
weird.
23 years old.
No, sorry, 23. No.
If she was like 14.
Yeah, if she was, even if she was 20, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe she was right. Maybe she didn't have any money, like you said. Maybe they
Yes.
rinsed it. That would make sense. But also, if you're 23, you have to have the wherewithal to know that there's other people living here. I can't stick my bloody pads.
I don't
bodily
get how
fluid.
one though you as the roommates you didn't address it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
after the second or third time, I'd be like, "Is
What
this
is
your
this?
pad,
Yeah.
What is
Bethany?
this?
Is this your pad?"
No.
Well, we
also
don't
true.
do that. Like, how do you go from the third time and still be like, "Should we say anything?"
I know.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
also would
first
love
time-
to know like the living situation. Like if it was like our roommate doing that, who like we met on Craigslist, it would probably be one of those situations where
I'd be
we would be
doing
like
it.
gossiping with one another, being like, what do we do? What do we say?
Yeah.
God,
I know.
that is horrific.
That is so gross.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Very.
Immediate permaban.
Sorry, Mike.
Exiled.
I usually can see both sides, but you're wrong.
One time
Okay.
I had someone puked in my sink with one of my roommates. We had like a his and her sink, shared bathroom. And one time I woke up and someone had puked. All
You don't puke in a sink.
all in my sink. So someone puked in my sink and I go, "Who puked in the sink?" He goes, "It wasn't me." And I go, "I went to bed at 10 p.m. last night. You didn't come home till later. Did you come home with anybody?" He goes, "No." And I go, "Then who puked in the sink,
And it was
man?"
just the two of you.
Just the two of
Huh.
us. And I go, "But you puked." I go, "What? I'm pretty sure it was you." And he goes, "No, man." And I go, "You puked in my sink. Why couldn't you puke in this sink?" Dude, it made no sense. And then I had to sit there and clean it up because the drain was one of the
Yeah,
ones with
you
a bunch of
can't-
holes
you
in it.
can't
So it
puke
was
in a
like this
sink.
sifter. Dude, it was disgusting. And I remember going crazy about it. I go, "So did somebody break in our apartment last night and puked in my sink?"
If only you had a ring camera from the inside. Imagine just being able
know.
to see who went in there.
I
Because
would-
it could have been you like sleepwalking and didn't know.
That was
but-
like a big
No,
divide
it
after
sounds
that.
like this guy probably forgot, blacked out, and threw
Yeah,
up.
if he was out drinking.
Why
Yeah.
Yeah.
puke in my
I wish I just
s-
had like video cameras set up in my like college house, even ours, to like see what I would do when I was drunk.
Oh God, yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I remember one time, Aaron, like I walked in and you were like laying on the bathroom floor because you're gonna puke, but also like the shower rod had been ripped down and something else, and it was just like, what happened in here?
Just sleepy.
Yeah, just tired.
Okay. In 2017, I moved to Boston for grad school and started living with 3 other women that I didn't know. 2 of those women have become some of my closest friends, but the other is completely different story. My mom helped me move, and this person, let's call her M, quickly became very obsessed with her. She was calling my mom Mama after knowing her for like 3 hours. It was bizarre, but I had just met this girl, so I figured it was just her personality. Over the next few months, M became obsessed with me, both me and my family, though she had literally never met any of them other than my mom that one time. She was always in my business and would come into my room completely unannounced. When I went home to Texas for Thanksgiving that year, I learned that M tried to get my other roommates to go into my room and try on all of my clothes with her and use my skincare products. When I got back to Boston after Christmas, my other roommates kept making comments about how M was planning to go home with me to Texas over spring break. I just laughed it off thinking they were joking, but they were serious. She had bought plane tickets to come stay at my mom's house with me for a week without even asking me, and when she showed up, she kept making sexual comments about my brother in front of / even to my mom.
Trying to join the family.
Mind you, she never met my brother or even saw him in real life, and he was and still is married to his high school sweetheart of like 17 years. She kept saying that their marriage didn't matter, that she would do anything to be a part of my family. After all of this and many other ridiculous situations, I tried to distance myself from her, but obviously with Elise, I had to keep living with her.
Oh my God.
We were also in the same grad program. I felt so uncomfortable in my own home that I locked my bedroom door behind me every night because I didn't know what she would do. Thankfully, I no longer have any contact with her, and she lives in a different state, and I no longer live with roommates.
She's moving she's moved on to a new family.
Well, that's a personality disorder.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
you
through
think?
and through.
Oh,
That's
for
someone who's
sure.
like mentally ill. Like that sounds like a borderline or like histrionic personality disorder
Yeah,
to
there's
me.
definitely something that is not.
Especially with like the whole like sexual thing with like the brother and stuff,
Oh,
the
yeah.
impulsiveness of going and trying on your dresses and
Clothes.
stuff. Like that is someone
Yeah.
with
It just reminds me of
weird.
like isn't that like a movie?
I was gonna say it
Someone's
sounds
like
like a movie.
so obsessed with someone and then they become
Isn't
them.
it called The Roommate?
Wait, there is a movie called.
Did
The
she
Roommate.
just wrote the plot of the movie?
Oh.
She just Wikipedia'd a movie plot and sent
We're
it
like,
in.
oh my God,
I'm like,
this
it's
is crazy.
I bought this TV and there's like a girl that comes in it and like walks out into the screen. The
From a
ring.
well?
Yeah,
the
no,
ring.
it's like that movie where I don't even remember if it's women, but like one of them is like so obsessed with the other, she starts like dressing like her to the point where she like then like gets with her boyfriend and like her boyfriend loves her and her whole life is like taken over.
Is it like a thriller?
Mean
I
Girls.
don't remember.
That would be funny if we just people, hey, send us movie plots that are disguised as advice columns, and we'll see
Yeah.
if we can figure out if it's a
If
movie
it's
plot
true or not?
an advice column.
That
Oh,
is really
yeah.
funny.
My friend built a time machine out of a DeLorean, and I have to go back in time. Do you have any advice?
But no, it sounds like you have a very mentally ill roommate.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No,
No,
she moved to
yeah.
another
Oh,
state.
alone
sorry.
now.
Oh, I
I
guess it
would be
wasn't
like
advice.
so freaked out
That
though.
is-
But what's great though is you've experienced that on the highlight. What's great is that you've experienced what that type of person is, and you now know when to identify those types of people in your life. Hopefully, early on, be very
Yes.
cautious of those types of people because they are sometimes like that to a pattern, and
Yeah.
you can see it later on, and you know when it's
Yeah, like the
bad.
first time you encounter someone that actually has like, I don't know what the proper terminology is, but a mental difference.
attachment personality disorder.
Yeah,
I
like a
think.
personality disorder, then you've never experienced someone who has that before. You think that like this is a factor of the way that they think or the way that they, are trying to be a good person. But like some people just have issues that you can't ever get past, like narcissists.
Totally.
Like you're never going to get through to a narcissist. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, identifying that is a silver lining that then you can recognize it in the future.
And once again, all compassion and understanding to people who have been diagnosed with personality disorders. Like that is like, I want to make that clear, but this is just coming from the perspective of someone who's like
who didn't
Yeah.
who
understand
sounds
that
like
might
it's like
be
a victim
Yeah.
of
Also,
that.
as like a college, like young college student, like
Yeah.
I don't think that's your first thought. It's like, oh my God, like I'm in college now. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the first time you encounter a narcissist, you're just like, wait, so you actually don't care about anybody else? Like what does that even?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know.
Okay. Hey guys, love the pod. I've never had a roommate, but my ex-girlfriend.
What do you say? You say roommate again?
She says roommate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Boston thing. We talked about this.
Oh, I know. I've never heard like that.
Like in context.
Oh, a roommate?
Yeah. I keep hearing her say it. I'm like, she's. Go. Never mind.
But my ex-girlfriend roomed with her sisters. One morning, I brought my then girlfriend to work and just went back to the apartment and went back to sleep. I came out of her bedroom a few hours later for some water, and her older sister and younger sister were having a convo, and her older sister was stark naked in the living room. Both she and I were mortified, but after a while, all three of us laughed it off and told my girlfriend, and she thought it was hilarious as well. Safe to say, I never looked her in the eye again, but it was still really funny. Could you imagine?
That's a lot. That's
Has
a
that
lot of.
happened?
What was the beginning? Is that it was his sister?
It was his girlfriend at the time's house, and he was just like staying there, and he walked out of the room, and her sister was standing naked in the living room.
Why?
Oh.
Why are these family members having conversations in the nude?
Why not?
Because that's not normal. I don't know.
If you're able to laugh about it, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And if she
Totally.
thinks it's funny,
I mean, for the person who wrote in, like, yeah, that is funny. You saw, but like, I'm really wondering why two siblings were standing in a kitchen nude having a conversation.
I think
Is that
girls
normal?
With two
Well, it
girls,
could have been
right?
anything. Maybe she was like, I don't know. It could have been a
Nude
certain
in a
situ-
kitchen with
I've
your
absolutely
sibling?
I think we had
that crazy.
conversations with like Carly naked before.
Yeah.
I think girls like can be naked in front of
Yeah,
girls
it's
more
like-
easier
But
than
siblings?
like guys being in front of you.
Yeah.
It's not like they're hooking up.
No, I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, where's your brain going?
They probably
not
took
stepsisters.
baths together.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounds a little off to me.
Yeah, but it could have been anything. Maybe she like just got out of the shower.
She's like, can you check this mole for me?
Yeah.
Does this look weird?
Well, when the way
totally.
that it's phrased, it sounds like they're just like eating a granola bar, just like having a conversation. Oh, so do you want to get dinner tonight? Like we're thinking about, and you're just like, can you put on some clothes? I don't know. It sounds bizarre.
Hates nudity.
I'm
You,
not a-
you would have hated Erin in her rage drinking
Yeah.
Oh
era.
yeah, Aaron.
This naked.
Last week.
Oh, sorry.
Hey y'all, I went to school in Minneapolis, and it was a small Christian college. In the first and second year, I lived in a quad with 3 other girls. Ugh, I lived in a quad once. It was a nightmare.
It's a quad.
It's like it was this room with 4 beds.
4 beds. Got
So
it.
we had 2 bunk beds,
beds.
and then one of my roommates, she had a boyfriend, and she would literally invite him into our quad like every single night.
And they would.
And she was the kind of roommate too that was like, lights out at 8. And she would turn the fucking lights off, and we were like, no.
Do I know her?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I remember who it is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're not together anymore, but that
Lights out at 8.
yeah, she was like, I'm
8
turning the lights
PM?
off, and then they would watch Elf every night, which like don't get me wrong, it's
Get
a
me
great
out of that
movie.
room. Are you kidding me? Lights out at 8 and we're watching Elf every night.
That's like a
Am I in
that's like a Saw
preschool?
movie.
No, it
Throw me
was
off a
so weird, and
cliff.
she had this infatuation with like popping his pimples. So she was on the top bunk. He would literally come in every night. Like, mind you, like she wouldn't even ask. He would just like show up, which it's so weird. Like it was a room like this.
Yeah,
like,
that's too
there's
close
no other
to-
places that we can like change or do whatever. Like it's just really
It's rude.
Is there a
Rude.
bathroom in a
rude.
kitchen?
no.
It's probably communal, right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
And it genuinely was this room. And then it just had 2 sets of bunk beds.
Congratulations on surviving that. That's
Yeah,
the worst
that's-
story I heard yet. I'll
And
take the pooping in the kitchen
she
versus
would
whatever that
literally
is.
sit on the bed while Alf was playing and pop his pimples.
Oh,
Oh, nope.
I'll pass.
That was wild.
Was no
Okay.
one like, hey, we want to be up later than 8?
Yo, there were like some passive aggressive things. I remember like one time I just went and flipped the light switch back on. I was like, no, it's
What
not.
did she do?
It was just like whatever. But that was a weird living situation.
Oh god.
There were a lot of weird things. One time, another one of my roommates that was also living in that quad, her boyfriend showed up at like 5 a.m. because they had like gotten into a fight. He lived like 2 hours away. He drove there, showed up, and then while they were like fighting, he took his like flat brim hat and ripped his teeth out.
What? Wait, what the fuck do you mean? You're just seeing that with his
What?
hat?
No, like it was insane.
What do you mean? Wait, I
they
need
were
a
like
visual.
Like
fighting.
he was
in the-
angry, like "Ugh."
Yes, he was like so mad, and I was like biting down and ripped his teeth out. That same roommate also like it was like this was my sophomore year. We were like weeks into the school year, and she was so drunk she jumped out of a car, like a moving car. Like this was a crazy year. Lots
know
of
her
stuff
too.
happened.
Oh my
No.
Oh, okay.
lord. So
What a roller coaster that was.
where's
just
he now? Does he have like veneers? Can we like look it up?
I don't know.
I was there the day you ripped your teeth out.
I
with
don't
the
remember.
fucking...
It was like 5 a.m. She's like, yeah, he just ripped all his teeth out. We were like, huh?
Oh my god.
Quite the time.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, back to this small Christian school. They
Let us pray.
one of the girls I had previously known through church, and the other two we met on Facebook, which were the girls in her quad. They were all great, and I loved living with them. But one of them was a sleepwalker, talker, doer, etc. She did a lot of weird stuff in her sleep, like praying in tongues,
Oh my god.
jumping off of her bunk, holding conversations, etc. But one time, she almost killed me. During our second year living together, our beds were situated where our heads would meet in a corner. So I don't know why you would do that. I snore when my allergies get bad, not too loud, but definitely noticeable. One night, I woke up to her holding a pillow down over my face, and I had to hit her multiple times for her to wake up and realize what she was doing. Y'all, this situation makes me laugh to this day because it is truly
Okay,
unreal.
she was definitely possessed every time
She
she
tried
slept.
to kill you while she was sleepwalking? Okay, pal.
Yeah, I was sleepwalking. Trust me, it was nothing. Isn't that
really
crazy?
creepy, though.
Like I was sleepwalking. You know, I would never do that.
That is
Trust
creepy,
me.
like praying in tongues in your sleep.
Oh
I mean,
my
something, a demon was living inside of her.
I feel like after the first, like the fact that she went on to live with her again, I would just be like, no, you need to go to like a sleep study situation. Like, shouldn't have
Get
roommates.
some restraints, put a mask on your face. Like, we gotta
Yeah.
contain the sitch, because
Yeah.
that is just just like, oh my god.
No, that's not a nightmare.
Speaking in tongues. Oh my God, that'd be so scary. I would just be like real freaked out.
If you woke up to just someone doing
Yeah.
that too.
But I also have to
Chrissy,
imagine.
wake up!
Yeah.
I don't like this.
I have to imagine that poor girl. Like, I'm not a sleepwalker, but like, it's a real thing, and people don't remember, and that shit is so
I
scary.
know. And you're not supposed to like talk to them when they're sleepwalking or something. It's dangerous to wake them up.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
I've seen Step Brothers.
Thank
Okay,
you, though.
I have one now that says I was the bad roommate.
Ooh, love that.
I was definitely the bad roommate, but I kind of had a good reason. Maybe. Don't judge me. In college, I had 2 roommates. They both moved into our house a month before I did and got a cat without asking me. I wasn't super excited about this idea because I'm allergic to cats and we are college kids who are drunk most of the time. If they had asked me, I would have voted no on the cat, but whatever. They got it already. I wasn't going to throw a fit about it. Generally, I like cats. I'm definitely a dog person, but I have met plenty of cats that I love. This cat I did not love. For one, they adopted a 16-year-old cat with health issues.
Oh my god. In
Why?
college?
Yeah. Why they thought it would be a good idea to adopt an elderly cat as college students is beyond me. This cat peed everywhere but the litter box. The couch, blankets, rugs, my bed, everywhere.
Oh no,
Our house
no.
constantly smelled like cat pee.
Oh,
Not
no.
only that, but this cat was mean. Borderline attacked any new person that entered our home, did not snuggle, hissed constantly, don't think I ever even heard it meow, and just was generally 100% uninterested in people. It only liked one of my roommates, tolerated me and my other roommate. So now, what makes me a bad roommate is that whenever their cat would pee on my stuff, I would take it and lock it inside my roommate's room, knowing that it would pee in there as payback. I was not torturing this cat and forcing it to hold it or stay in the room. It was just inevitable it would pee because it always did and hated using its litter box. Also, it liked being alone in bedrooms. It was always trying to sneak into my room. Overall, the cat was not being mistreated. I was just being petty as fuck. So that's my story. I'm a bitch and they always wondered why their stuff smelled like cat pee and why the cat was targeting their rooms. Eventually, they had to put the cat down and I was sad that my roommates were sad, but I don't enjoy it when others are hurting, but let's just say I was not super bummed about it.
I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, rare instance of someone claiming to be the bad roommate, and definitely not the bad roommate.
Yeah.
These people who brought a cat without functioning kidneys into your house,
I know.
absolutely not.
Especially
And you
being
were
in
right to
college.
put the cat in their room
Yeah,
because
their
you're-
responsibility.
Yeah, and it's not your fault that the cat's peeing on your stuff or their stuff. It's their cat. It's their problem.
I know. I would, as in her position, I would never let it get to the point where it was like even allowed near my bed. I'd be like, keep the fucking litter box in your room, even though it doesn't use it. It can't leave your room.
Yeah.
And if it's in my room, you have to get it out.
Yeah.
Or even the common areas. If the common areas smell like cat pee, you got to fix that.
Oh my God, 100%.
Which is why are you adopting a 16-year-old cat who's mean? Like,
especially in college, that seems a little irresponsible. I mean, I'm sure they took care of it.
Man. Well, rare instance of someone thinking they're self-aware, but you're not the bad roommate. Well, that was insane.
I do have one that I remember off the top of my head that I just thought was funny.
Yeah.
This girl, I just wanted like everyone's opinion, mainly Carly's. So this girl had a roommate, and she one time was taking a shower. Like she left the room to take the shower, then she came back in, and the girl like noticed her roommate kind of like she was standing but like hunching over a little, and then she was like, "Oh, I remembered you're on your period," and then she was like, "Are you putting a tampon in front of me?" And the girl was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "What? That's absolutely disgusting. Like you shouldn't be putting a tampon in front of me without telling me." But then she was like, "Go wash your hands now." And then the roommate who was putting in the tampon was like, "No, I'm not gonna go wash my hands after I just put this tampon in front of you."
Ew.
Yeah.
Wait, she was doing it facing away from her?
It seems like it. Yeah.
Where?
In their room.
Do they share a room?
Yeah. They're roommates.
I would say I wouldn't be offended by that. Like if we have the same room and you're putting a tampon, I'd be like, whatever. But if you made it known that makes you uncomfortable, and then she didn't wash her hands after, that's disgusting.
Yeah, she said she like threw her hand sanitizer too. She was like, "Use this," and she was like, "No."
Okay, that's like weird then. Even if you feel like you don't need to wash your hands, just do it.
Yeah, I've definitely put in tampons like in rooms with other people before.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a.
But if you're like, please never do that again, I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem.
It's all about. I mean, people have different boundaries with stuff like that.
It's just really weird. Like you were already in the bathroom showering. Like just put the tampon in the bathroom and then wash your hands.
Yeah.
I used to do a thing where if someone was showering, like one of my roommates was showering, I would get a cup of ice water, and while they were showering, just pour it on their head while they're showering.
You're an ass.
Oh, come on.
Just
It's
like
an old prank.
What?
Like in college, just like a stupid prank.
Yeah.
That's
the
fun
most
to do.
annoying thing about college was like you had to have like your credentials to get into the bathroom.
Oh.
Did you go to college in a prison?
No, but like you always had to like have your little.
That makes sense, so I'd rather be kind of safe.
Yeah,
you
it
don't
does
want
make
random
sense.
people.
But then it's like you would walk to the bathroom
We
and
had
like,
a
fuck, I
key.
don't
We
have
did-
my thing.
Yeah.
We had our own key. I don't think we had credentials, but
Well, no, you know what I mean, like a little buzzy thingy.
oh, you
like
had
a
like a
key.
beep, like a key fob.
Yeah, to get into the building and stuff.
Oh, right. I don't remember how I did. I think we just had regular keys.
We definitely had a key for our door. I had like I was like a
Like
janitor.
a hotel.
Luckily, I never had to do a community bathroom.
That's
Oh,
I had,
nice.
a, I had a bathroom in all of my dorms.
Oh, wow.
Did
That's
When-
nice.
Where'd you go to school?
Shut the
Did you know that I lived in an Econo Lodge for a semester?
Econo Lodge?
Econo Lodge.
Oh wait, the motel hotel chain.
Yeah, they overbooked the campus
Oh,
housing.
yes. I remember
so then
this.
like a month before they were like, "Oh, by the way, like already going to the school."
For a whole semester?
Mm-hmm.
What?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Was it nicer than the dorms?
I mean, it absolutely had its advantages. Like we had air conditioning, whereas like the freshman campus housing
Nice.
did not. We were able to bring our cars because technically we had to like commute to the campus.
That's sick, actually.
And like our RAs, we had the whole thing. So it was like the first floor and the second floor. It wasn't like random people were actually.
Did you get cleaning service too? Like they would make your bed for
No.
you? Oh,
No.
that would have been a nice
No,
perk.
we literally could decorate it like it was our dorm. Like I had
Oh.
Paramore posters hanging up.
Cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that was funny. Haha.
I wonder how they situate. Like, I'm sure they have a deal with the college. Like,
Yeah.
hey, if it ever overflows, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's already something in place.
It has to be.
I don't know if that. I think they literally were just. It was literally a motel immediately off of the exit.
That's
I think
actually
they
pretty
just were
cool.
like fuck, because it was only like I don't know how many rooms are there.
We should go book
Like
the room
50?
and stay.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Your
My
own college
roommate, my roommate at that hotel. You know how at I don't know what they're called, but like the overhangs at hotels where like the pillars are.
Yeah.
What are those called?
An awning?
No, because they're like I don't know. It has a name, but it doesn't matter. And I lived in the East Coast, so it would get really cold, and the windshield wipers or the windshield would like freeze over. And one time, my roommate, she was leaving to go to campus and hit the pillar with her car.
Oh, fuck.
And like completely like got
Oh,
all
no.
fucked up. Yeah, like
Like
knocked
in the front
it
of the
over.
building?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you for watching another episode of Good Influences. Thank you so much for your submissions, emails, comments on the Instagram.
So sorry
And
if we didn't
YouTube.
get to yours, but there were a lot.
So many.
We still have all of them saved. Maybe we'll do an
Yeah.
episode where we just read listener questions. I feel like that could be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, like this video, leave a comment. We're also on Apple and Spotify and Anchor and all those good places. So give us a review, comment, like all that stuff. Follow the account on Instagram, Good Influences Pod. And we will see you next week with a new episode.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye.